All right, so you ever see one of those shiny best states to live in lists online or maybe on the news or whatever it is, and you think to yourself, how the hell did Massachusetts make the cut? That's at least how I feel. But yeah, honestly, we have a lot to cover today. So first of all, CNBC, they just bumped the state up to number 20 for overall business climate. And sure, I think if you squint your eyes, you could think that this sounds impressive. It looks impressive. That is until you start doing more research and you realize that the state is also ranked 49th out of 50 states for the cost of doing business. So let that sink in for a second. And believe me, there's a lot of good things about Massachusetts. If there wasn't, I would not live here. You know, statistics alone, okay, not all of the back end stuff, but we do have a relatively good education system. That is something that our politicians rest their laurels on, okay? We're also one of the most forward-thinking states. Take that for what it is. But we are literally the second most expensive place to run a business in America. The only state that ranks worse than us is Hawaii. And they're sitting on a volcano in the middle of the damn ocean, okay? So what is our excuse, really? Here's the truth, okay? You probably already know this, but you may not want to admit it. At least this is the way it feels to me. It's like Massachusetts is in a slow motion collapse. And the reason it feels that way for a lot of people is because a lot of people are middle class or even lower than that. So unless you're already rich, or you're already connected here, or you're already retired and collecting a decent-sized pension, the state could feel okay. But if not, the state feels like it's slowly squeezing you out. So I want to start with some of the basics here. Let's talk about wages a little bit. Our wages are high, all right? If you're planning to come to Massachusetts, you're getting an offer from a company, you're going to see it on paper. Your wage is going to be high. It's probably one of the highest in the country, by the way. But you can't let that fool you because everything here is brutally expensive. The state ranks 47th for the overall cost of living, and we are one of the worst for housing affordability in the country. We're in the top 3 for energy costs, and we have some of the highest childcare expenses in the United States. I think the only state that's worse than us is Washington, the Washington, D.C. area, okay? So yeah, that paycheck, it might look good on paper, but it's going to evaporate before you even finish paying for your essentials. Let me tell you. You know, here's a really good example. Think of it like this. If you're making around, let's say $100,000 in Boston, that's roughly the same take-home comfort as someone making about $65,000 in Raleigh, North Carolina, because everything here costs so damn much. It's like getting a raise only to have your landlord, the utility company, and the state treasury rob you on payday. That's how it is. And I think the message that it sends to small businesses, to startups, and to working families, I think it's simple. Massachusetts is not acting like a state in the union anymore. As a matter of fact, it feels like we're getting further and further away from that. We're acting like a subscription model that you just can't cancel. And honestly, living here feels like you're getting hit by a bus, metaphorically, of course. But, you know, if you ever do get injured or if you ever do get hit by one, literally, you might want someone that is willing to fight for you. Which brings me to today's sponsor, which is Morgan & Morgan. They are America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys throughout 50 states. And they've helped a lot of people, over 500,000 clients, and have recovered over $25 billion. I'm talking results like there was $12 million in Florida after they originally received a $350,000 offer, or there was the $29 million in Pennsylvania after being offered just $500,000. Even a case where the last offer was in Florida, it was like zero, okay? They didn't get offered anything, but they still managed to get their clients $20 million. It's a lot of money. So yeah, if you're ever injured in an accident or whatever it may be, you could check out Morgan & Morgan. It's very, very simple. Everything that they have is intuitive. You could really start your claim today from the comfort of your couch. You can go to forthepeople.com/Mike Urban. Their fee is free, and it's free unless they win. And here in Massachusetts, you know this, justice could feel like some kind of premium add-on to that subscription. So you don't want a discount law firm when everything else already costs full price. Now, I get it. Maybe you're not a small business owner. Maybe you're just trying to live here. And guess what? You're getting crushed too. So according to recent polling, 81% of Massachusetts residents say they are cutting back on summer activities due to rising costs. This was a recent report, by the way. Half of the people are eating out less, and a third of people are slashing local travel and shopping from their own personal budget or their personal expenses. But this isn't just about budgeting anymore. This is about survival. And people are bailing. They are bailing out of this state. Massachusetts has lost over 45,000 people just between 2021 and 2022, which is a massive, massive outmigration. I've talked about this before. But they didn't just leave quietly, because they also took their money with them. Upwards of $13.2 billion in adjusted gross income completely vanished. And the people leaving, they're not just retirees. We are talking about professionals here, right? That is what we are talking about. You figure young families, high earners, because when you look at data from the IRS, there is a correlation there. And it shows that 55% of that lost income came from the top earners. Those are the very people footing the majority of the tax bill. This is stuff that you're not going to find on local news here, guys. They're just not going to report on this. So you think to yourself, as I did, like, why are they leaving? Well, there's obviously a lot of reasons, right? But it's because Massachusetts decided to go all in on taxing the hell out of everything. We have the highest unemployment insurance taxes in the country. We have a suffocating corporate tax burden, and now 4% surtax on income over $1 million. That one pushed 90% of wealthy taxpayers to consider moving. Doesn't mean they did move, but they are considering it. And that was according to the Massachusetts CPA survey. I think I covered that once before as well. 64% of people said it was one of the top reasons that they would leave. So look at it this way. I could say congrats on any short-term tax wins based on the volatile income that the state is getting. But I think the state needs to get ready, because when your entire fiscal plan leans on taxing people who could pick up and leave with a phone call to their accountant, you're building your house on sand. That is realistically what is happening here. The surtax money, I think that it may look good this year. It may even look good next year. But what happens like when the top earners, when they relocate to Florida or shift their income through trusts or simply stop investing here? You know, the state's budget is growing like we hit the lottery, but the revenue stream that it's banking on is some kind of equivalent to you or somebody else paying your mortgage and rent and betting that on crypto or even worse, NFTs. That's what it's like. It's like putting your money into those things because it's volatile income. And when that bubble pops, when these high income earners, they disappear and the capital dries up, guess who's left to fill the gaps? Us, the middle class and small business owners. Because Massachusetts isn't just overtaxing the rich. It's overestimating how long the rich will stick around to pay for it. It's a huge problem, guys. And you're going to see this happen very, very soon, I think. And when you think about it, what are we getting in return for all of these taxes? What do residents actually see for the privilege of these costs? We have a shrinking economy, and Massachusetts is one of the only 4 states to lose private sector jobs since 2020. It's, again, a massive problem. How could we attract and, more importantly, keep talent here? How could we keep businesses in the state or allow businesses to invest in the state? You have states like Florida or Texas or North Carolina with lower taxes and fewer barriers to entry for businesses, and they're doing very, very well. Even Boston was once like this tech powerhouse, and it's falling behind. It's like Massachusetts is still setting the table, and meanwhile, all of these other states are opening the restaurant. And here's where it gets even uglier. While the economy shrinks here, government spending is exploding. Also, government hiring is exploding here too. In 2015, the Massachusetts state budget, we were around $40 billion. This year, it's over $61 billion. That is a 50% increase in 10 years. For what? The roads are still awful. The housing is still unaffordable. The services are still stretched. There's over 50 towns that are looking for state overrides, and the private sector is on life support. Governor Healey's fiscal year 2025 budget added another $2.1 billion, and most of it is funded by that millionaire surtax, by the way. So we grew the budget, pushed taxes up, and drove out the people who were supposed to fund it. It's absolutely genius. This isn't just some levels of mismanagement. It's a broken social contract. You pay more, you get less. And then you get blamed when you can't keep up. So I also want to talk briefly today about housing for a second here, because Massachusetts ranks dead last in housing affordability. WallHub says we are number 6 for the highest housing costs nationwide. That's not a market failure. That is policy failure. And it's driving young people out of the state at record speeds. If you're around, well, maybe not my age, I'm not this young, but if you're in between the ages of 26 to 44, I may be closer to the 44 age. Good luck trying to buy a home. Good luck trying to afford childcare. And good luck trying to build a future here. It's not easy. And this is something people will not tell you, okay? This is really something people won't tell you. What had ended up happening is remote work gave a lot of people different options. And guess what? They're taking them. There is so many people that work for companies inside of Massachusetts, but they choose to not live here. I wonder why. Even the confidence in the state is collapsing. Among residents making around $50,000, only 42% believe that Massachusetts is heading in the right direction. 6 months ago, that number was like 64%. So that's like a nosedive. And this is across all generations, okay? This polling that was done. This is millennials, Gen X, Gen Z. Even boomers are scaling back on their summer plans. People are hurting here, guys, and they know they're not getting their money's worth. That is the last grain of salt. That is the reason for this video. We are not getting what we are paying for here. So here's my overall forecast if nothing changes. I think more people will leave. I think more taxable income will disappear. I think that more budget shortfalls will grow. I think that more services will decline. And for those that are left here, we're going to be the ones left stuck holding the bag. And that is until Massachusetts gets serious about affordability, about competitiveness, and about actual outcomes. If we stay this course, it only ends one way: a shrinking, aging, overpriced state that young people and entrepreneurs treat like a cautionary tale. So no, Massachusetts is not dying tomorrow, but it's also not thriving. It's limping, okay? It's basically limping. And if you're thinking about moving here, you need to ask yourself one simple question: what am I actually getting for my money? Because right now, it's not jobs, it's not affordability, and it's not opportunity. It's just taxes, traffic, and an $8 iced coffee. That's it. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.